Welcome back to our explainer on the Aqua Root Mastery Guide Part 2. So glad you're here. Before we jump into today's breakdown, do me a huge favor and hit that like button, share this with a friend, and subscribe so you don't miss out. Okay, so in Part 1, we established that the root aqua simply means water, right? It pops up in variations like AQUE, AQUI, and AQUAT. We tackled those fundamental words like aquarium, aquatic, aquifer, aqueduct, and aqueous. But today we are taking things to the next level. We're getting into the advanced techniques so you can start analyzing words like an absolute championship word detective.
Here's our agenda for this explainer. We've got 6 sections to master. First, word detective training, followed by the root formula chart and frequency ranking. Then, we'll dive into academic vocabulary, drill the top 25 words alongside the advanced P words, and finally, wrap it all up with etymology and a quick review. Let's get to it.
All right, Section 9, Word Detective Training. The biggest difference you'll see here, average students memorize words, but champion spellers, they analyze them. So how do they do that? Well, there's a really brilliant 4-step word detective method. Step 1, find the root. We're looking for aqua, AQUE, AQUI, or AQUAT. Step 2, find the other word parts, your prefixes and suffixes. Step 3, find the literal meaning by putting those pieces together. And finally, Step 4, find the modern meaning by adapting that literal translation into how we actually use the word today. It's really like solving a puzzle.
Let's actually see this in action. Take the word aquifer. We've got AQI plus fer, which means to carry. Literally, it's a water carrier, but its modern meaning is an underground layer of rock that carries and stores water. Makes sense, right? Then look at aqueduct. It blends aqua with duct, meaning to lead. So literally, a water leader. Today, we define it as a structure that carries or leads water.
Let's keep going with this method. It's pretty fun. What about Aquanaut? Well, naut means sailor. Put them together, a water sailor. In modern times, that's an underwater explorer. Then there's aquamarine, which mixes aqua with marine for sea water. Today, that perfectly describes that beautiful blue-green gemstone. And aquaculture, that combines aqua and culture, meaning growing in water. We use that term now for raising fish or aquatic organisms. Okay, time for a word detective challenge. Predict the meaning of aquaphobia. Well, aqua is water, phobia is fear. You guessed it, fear of water. Easy, right? Now what about aquatint? Tint means color, so literally a watercolor. In modern usage, it refers to a specific artistic printing process that creates water-based effects. The major championship tip to remember here is this. You literally do not need to know every single word in the dictionary. You just need to know the pieces. And that brings us right into Section 10, the root formula chart. This is the master root formula chart from the guide, covering 15 key words from aquarium to aquacity. Now pay close attention to how suffixes completely transform a word's function. Slap a -riam on the end, and you get a place, like an aquarium. Add -os, and you've got a quality, like aqueous. And when you attach prefixes, like sub or non, you completely shift the direction of that water root, giving us words like subaqueous or nonaqueous. Go ahead and pause the explainer right here if you want to study these combinations. Seeing how the literal meanings directly inform the modern definitions is a total game changer.
Moving smoothly right along to Section 11, Frequency Ranking.
The guide neatly organizes these words into treasure chests of difficulty. First up, everyday words. Things like aquarium and aquatic that you probably see all the time. Next level up are academic words used in school, like Aquifer and Aqueduct. Then we get to the spelling bee words. These pop up constantly in competitions, words like Aquanaut and Subaqueous. Finally, the expert-level words like aquacity and aquatint. These are those rare, high-tier terms that truly separate the advanced spellers from the pack.
Let's dig deeper into Section 12, Academic Vocabulary, because aqua really does appear everywhere in academics. Seriously, just look at science and geography. In your science classes, you are constantly going to encounter aqueous solutions and aquatic life. You know, like learning about salt dissolved in an aqueous solution. Meanwhile, over in geography, you'll be studying those underground water sources called aquifers, along with massive water transportation structures known as aqueducts.
And it honestly doesn't stop there. In environmental science, you'll be reading about aquaculture, growing aquatic organisms, and studying diverse aquatic ecosystems. In history class, you're definitely going to marvel at the ancient Roman aqueducts. In medicine, you'll see aquatherapy, which is a specialized water-based treatment. And in technology or agricultural classes, you'll explore aquaponics, an amazing farming system that actually grows plants and fish together in water.
All right, let's jump to section 13, the top 25 aqua words every speller should know. Study these carefully. Here it is, your essential, ultimate list of all 25 aqua words featured in the guide. You've got everything from your everyday words like aquarium and aquatic, stretching all the way down to those really advanced terms like aquarelle and aquaferousness. Seriously, feel free to pause the explainer or take a screenshot right here to commit this list to memory. It is incredibly useful. So let's try a champion challenge straight from the text. Looking back at that list of 25, which of those words do you think would probably appear in science or geography? Think about it for a second. For science, you'd want to pick out terms like aqueous, aquifer, and aquaponics. For geography, you're looking for words like aqueduct and aquifer. See how they overlap?
Now we are entering the elite chamber. Section 14, Advanced Spelling Bee Words. These are the words elite spellers should recognize instantly.
Let's break down Advanced Words Part 1. First up is Aquiferous. This means containing water or literally water-bearing. Next is Subaqueous, which translates to underwater. Then we have Nonaqueous. That's a really important chemistry term for something that does not contain water. And finally, aquosity, which simply refers to a watery quality. Moving on to Advanced Words Part 2, we have aquatint, an artistic printmaking process that has Italian and French origins. There's also aquarelle, which is a French term for watercolor painting. Plus, we've got aquaponics for those systems combining fish and plants, and aquaculture for water-based cultivation. Oh, and here is a major championship speller alert for you. Words ending in aqueous and aquiferous, like subaqueous and nonaqueous, are absolute favorite spelling bee-style words. Learn them carefully. Okay, almost at the finish line. Section 15, Championship Etymology Training. Elite spellers use language history, and you should too. Look at the incredible evolution of language here. The ancient Latin root aqua transitioned over centuries into late Latin forms like aquaticus or aquaticus. Then eventually it morphed into the modern English words we use every day, like aquatic and aqueous. Words like aqueduct literally carried over the ancient Latin word ducere, which means to lead. It is just fascinating to trace that path. So, why does knowing this etymology actually help you? Well, imagine you hear a complex word like subaqueous. Instead of panicking, your brain goes to work. You know sub means under, you know aqua is water, and you know us means relating to. Boom. You can confidently predict it means underwater without ever having memorized the dictionary definition. That is exactly how championship spellers think on their feet. Let's bring it all home with our Part 2 review. So the crucial point is this. The root formula reminds us that aqua fundamentally means water. Throughout this explainer, we've broken down key academic words like aquifer, aqueduct, aqueous, aquaculture, and aquaponics. And we've tackled those tricky advanced B words like aquaferous, subaqueous, nonaqueous, aquosity, aquatint, and aquarelle. And that leads us to our ultimate champion rule. Whenever you see these roots, always ask yourself, what does this have to do with water? Mastering that single, simple question is the absolute key to elite spelling and vocabulary building. We'll be exploring even more complex spelling patterns and memory tricks in Part 3 of this explainer. But until then, I want to leave you with this. How many aquatic words can you spot in the real world today? Happy word hunting!